Yeah. Now fresh fire that too. The bone a bone so. You understand?
Yes, I can use few orders. Live. Today on the street. Taxi, eh? You don't see taxi? Taxi place no day. Taxi place no day. You don't see me. You don't block the street. Any taxi, just come down. Shake, you know day. Shake, you know day. A camera doesn't have a pass. Shake, you know day. Any taxi, just come down. Any taxi could over one time. You know the ground white, shake, you know day. You know the ground white, shake, you know day. You know what's up? You know what's up? No ground white, no what's up? Shake, you know day. Today now go new church.
Country people them. This one it go shock a lot of the so-called Ambazonians them because they not be informed. But now some fantastic news this way we need for know my fellow black legs them.
C'est une nouvelle victoire pour la diplomatie camerounaise. L'ancien premier ministre du Cameroun de 2009 à 2019, Philemon, a été désigné candidat à la présidence de la 79e session de l'Assemblée générale des Nations unies qui se tiendra en septembre 2024. Le choix a été opéré au sein du comité des candidatures de l'Union africaine le 14 février 2024.
So, when I go for Google, when I type Philemon Yang, now the spelling for a name that on the screen for now, and then when I search him, it will bring a profile. And then when I just scroll down a little bit, when I go see this link, the reason why they show now because the Amba terrorists, as stupid as they be, they don't ever believe the truth. They only believe in lies. So when I go download this document, it then now for the United Nations, their website. When I see at the website that now the link that un.org, now PDF document. When I open them, download them and then read them for yourself. So when I download the document, when I open them, now the document this way it will load. Now the breaking news this way, the Amba terrorists, they don't know where it go catch them by surprise. And I go explain for now how important this news it be. So now the heading that this document come on from United Nations, their website, my reader for now, it say, this is the biography of the President of the 79th United Nations General Assembly. Okay? What does this one mean? It means, say, the 79th session of the United Nations, the 79th session of the United Nations, now the President is. So, there is no contest because the African continent, it be provide now only one candidate. What it means, say, all the 50-something countries then for Africa, where they be part of the United Nations, they come together and they present now only one candidate for be the president of the 79th session of the United Nations. So all the African states, they agree. South Africa be come up with a candidate. Some other country be come up with a candidate. Cameroon be come up with a candidate. Now all the African countries, them amongst them, they vote their candidate and they select a candidate from Cameroon. His Excellency Philemon Yang, the former Prime Minister of Cameroon. So the African continent, it presents now only one candidate for being their candidate for the 79th session of the General Assembly for United Nations for be the president. And because it will be now Africa, you turn for head the session of the United Nations, it means there was no contest. So automatically, His Excellency Philemon Yang On the 10th of September 2024, he could become the president of the General Assembly. So now biography this I go read for now. And then I go can explain what we mean for our fight against Ambazonia terrorism. They say Ambassador Philemon Yang is a seasoned diplomat with a track record of experience. Internally, he served as Prime Minister, head of government from 2009 to 2019. In this capacity, he represented the head of state at various important high-level regional and international meetings. He has held other important government positions, including the Vice Minister of Territorial Administration from 1975 to 1979, Minister of Mines and Energy, Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic. Since 2020, he has been serving as the Grand Chancellor of the National Order at the Presidency of the Republic. Internally, Mr. Philemon Yang served as Cameroon's High Commissioner to Canada from 1984 to 2004. During 14 years, he doubled as Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. He has led Cameroonian delegations to high-level economic summits in Washington, D.C., London, New Delhi, and several other capitals. At the African level, he took part in various sessions of the African Union, Conference of Heads of State and Government, including the Summit of the Institutional Reform of the African Union. He has held the position of chairperson of the panel of eminent Africans of the African Union since February 2020. So now the statement that from the United Nations official website. Now I will explain for now why it be important for our fight against Ambazonia terrorism. And I want make una understand say for the whole African continent, for select a Cameroonian, Anglophone Cameroonian, during this Ambazonia terrorism, they select the Anglophone Cameroonian for be their only candidate for head the United Nations General Assembly. And that candidate will be accepted by the whole diplomatic corps around the world. Now, an endorsement of the Cameroon government itself. The whole international diplomatic corps from Eurasia to the Americas, North and South, the African continent, to the whole of Europe, they agree unanimously, say they support and they endorse the Cameroonian diplomatic mission to the United Nations. Now, an endorsement, say the Cameroon government, it be one, legitimate, two, they are great people doing great things and we endorse them by giving them this big, huge position of leadership. So the president of the General Assembly of the United Nations, it been a 1-year term. It starts from September 1 year to September the next, where it means from the 10th of September 2024 till September 2025, the person where it go head, where it would be the president of the United Nations General Assembly, it would be a Cameroonian, the former Prime Minister, Philemon Yang, where it means all the agenda for United Nations General Assembly, it will go through your table. It will decide which item it be important for bring them for General Assembly discussion, vote, and all of those things that the powers that way it get them. Now, I don't already tell una before when I be talk about the Green Tree Agreement, I be explain for una the main organs of the United Nations, including the International Court of Justice, the UN Secretariat, Economic and Social Council, and all of those other ones. Them. Many people, they know the United Nations Secretary General because they hold the office for long. But personally, actually get more powers. Now, the president of the General Assembly, and I go explain that for now. When I look at the Security Council right now, it be dysfunctional. Why? Because of the power dynamic in the world. You get the permanent members of the Security Council, like Russia and the USA, they fight amongst themselves. And because they both get a veto power, they fit stop any vote in the Security Council. It don't make the Security Council it be stagnant, where it means that nothing enough process in the Security Council. For example, the war where Israel launched against the Palestinians, if they want to vote anything for act against Israel or for act in that conflict, the United States it go veto them, it go stop them. The war where Russia get them against Ukraine, if the United Nations Security Council they want for act for that war, Russia it go veto them. So there is a stalemate, and the Security Council it be stagnant, it be impotent, enough it work, enough it function. So now any resolution, any action where the United Nations it want for take them globally right now, including security matters, it happen now for the floor of the General Assembly. Because the General Assembly, no person no get veto power. All man for General Assembly, again, only one vote. And all the 190 something countries, I think now 193 countries, the way they've been permanent or seated members of the United Nations, all of them, they get one vote at the General Assembly. Whereas for Security Council, you get 5 permanent members and non-permanent members. And they vote on security issues. As I don't already explain for now, the whole of the Security Council it be stagnant and it be impotent. They don't do any work because anything where they want for vote on, one of the permanent members it will vote against. And if any of the permanent member it vote against, and then that resolution becomes null and void, because now the veto power that way the permanent members they get them. So now everything, any action where the United Nations want to take them, it go now through the General Assembly where all countries get now one vote. The whole of the United States get now one vote. Cameroon get one vote. Canada get one vote. Ethiopia get one vote, and so on and so on. So now the president or the presidency, the office of the president of the General Assembly becomes even more important. Because all global affairs, including global security, it happen now for General Assembly. The UN Secretariat, now the Chief Executive Officer, where it execute where the General Assembly, a task ye for doam. So you get Antonio Guterres when the Secretary General, it wait on instructions from the General Assembly for act. If it take resolution where it come out from the General Assembly and then it go execute them, because now you job that. So when the General Assembly don't shut down the vote, they talk say, okay, we don't pass a resolution, say the UN go get peacekeeping mission for Chad. Then now they go task the Secretary General for put a team together for implement that resolution. But now who the first bring the resolution to the table, now who they vote on the resolution, not the General Assembly. Just like resolution 1608, where we always talk about the independence, about the 1st of October 1961 and all of those things, terminating the contract or the trusteeship agreement between the British and the United Nations. That resolution 1608, it be happen now for the General Assembly. So now the General Assembly, they do most of the work of the United Nations. Once they get a resolution for day, then they pass them on to the Secretariat, the United Nations Secretary General, for execute them. It is just execute way to way the General Assembly, it tell you for do them. So you see and say the powers for the United Nations General Assembly, the president, it get more powers. It be even more important in this context than the UN Secretary General, because the UN Secretary General they just do wait to wait the president of the General Assembly ask you for doam. So when it comes to this Ambazonia madness for Cameroon, the onset of the Anglophone crisis for 2016, the Prime Minister Ebibina, His Excellency Philemon Yang, the same person where he go sit as the president of the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. No person, no day in the world where if it lecture Philemon Yang on the Anglophone crisis, no one, no day. Now you go instead tell them where to be Anglophone crisis. Now the Prime Minister, this way President Paul Biya, he be tasked ye send me for Bamenda for go negotiate with the so-called consortium with the lawyers and teachers time where they still strike for 2016-17. But when he reached on the ground, he realized that these people were disingenuous. They don't already get their ulterior motives, their intention all along now for cause agitation and then ask for federation or separation, which is not what the teachers are. Who mandate una? You are not elected officials. You don't represent the whole Anglophone community. Anyway, so when the Prime Minister Philemon Young, if we go down to Bamenda, when I don't see that video, as a matter of fact, I go play the video, make una watch and remind ourselves about what will be happen for 2016, 2017. When I listen.
Businesses will not open, taxis, banks again, nobody will work, schools will not open, parents should not send their kids to school.
By Monday, we will know whether Yaoundé controls Anglophone Cameroon or we control our country, because where they are doling out huge sums of money that people won't be able to go to. The issues that we have raised are community issues and everybody has an interest. That's why everybody is coming on board, putting their own contributions. After Monday, we will think of what else to do that would bring this government down on its knees if by Monday we don't see them crawling and creeping.
So now the level of the arrogance of the so-called lawyers and teachers, now in that they talk say by Monday, if Cameroon government no crawl. Okay, beside that, that was stupidity and ignorance. Now not them there for Kondengi, they cry. But then again, they asked for it. So the Prime Minister become down for Bamenda, for can dialogue, negotiate, appease these people the way they will strike. But when the Prime Minister come, it discovers it is so, they don't get no strike, no legitimate grievances about lawyers and teachers, about civil law and all of those things and the so-called Anglo-Saxon education, whatever they will talk. That one be just been a front for an SCNC agenda where they don't get them, an agenda of separatism, of secession, an agenda of treason. So when the Prime Minister, because for example, when I go hold meeting with them today, when I make a way forward. So everything where they will complain about, the Prime Minister talks, okay, we will do this, we will rectify them. The Prime Minister, about 90 to 99% of everything where the Anglophones will complain about, the Prime Minister take notice of it and tell them, say, they will make changes, things will happen. Now the Anglophones, these people, they go on down, they talk, say, now they like say this government, it be too soft, they go capitulate. So make we increase our demand. It go now from asking for the grievances of the lawyers and teachers to start asking for federation. Prime Minister tell and say, first of all, me, I've been an appointed somebody, I not be elected, I not get a mandate. I only represent the government which is put in place by the president. The president not give me no mandate, and nor do I have the powers for change the constitution of the country. That is only done by the legislative branch. I mean the parliamentarians and all of those things, they go legislate them, and then the executive branch, when the president, they go sign them. Because what we want to demand for, I cannot guarantee, I cannot even do it. I don't have the powers to change the constitution of the country. I don't have the powers. So now the things say, because the government will capitulate, the government will give them everything where they want them, they just start, they come up with this arrogance. They talk about how Cameroon go crawl. They just as if they overget power. Because first of all, I need to understand, say, Anglophones, they don't always want to challenge the Cameroon government militarily. They don't always want to carry guns. For teach Paul Biya a lesson, they have always wanted to do that. So this was their opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity now for teach Paul Biya a lesson. So now for them, our Prime Minister, realizing, say, these people are not serious, they not be willing for negotiate, they not be willing for dialogue on the grievances, the way they claim, say they get them. So every time they put a target, the Prime Minister want hit the target, they want come towards the target, they go shift the goal. So they were a moving target, keep shifting the goal. So one time when they talk, say, okay, we'll not get enough Anglophone teachers, or we'll not get enough lawyers, or they send Francophone teachers for our school, or this and that. Prime Minister said, okay, we will fix them. We'll go do that. And then the next day when I want to come for the conference, they shift the goal. The next day they start talking and say, so we want a federation. What has federation got to do with the fact, say, when our teachers the complaint say maybe when our salary not be good enough or whatever? What has that got to do with federation? What has that got to do with when I start talk about separation and all of those things? So Prime Minister, leave them, go for your own day, compile a report, put down for the president at the desk. Tell you, say, those people are not serious. They are secessionists. They don't get no interest. They are not even. They don't even see themselves as Cameroonians. They don't get them no interest for. It's nothing. This is just a guise. There's nothing about Anglophone or lawyers and teachers, whatever. They na crispy for them. So now for them now, these people were rounded up. All of them, Agbobala them. When I see Tassan wait for them, they ground them all up, throw them for prison. That's what happened. So for bring them back to the consequences to the Anglophone. To the Ambazonian so-called nonsense what they talk about. Recently, when I don't hear some noisemakers, weaver birds, as Ayabachodi called them, weaver birds, weaver birds, the Waka talks, they get an important meeting for United Nations, Mateuna, between now and September 2025, nothing will be done at the level of the United Nations about what really happened inside Cameroon, because the president of the General Assembly, Ibina, Cameroonian, the former prime minister, nothing will be done, because anything will want happen at the General Assembly, it will need to pass through His Excellency Philemon Yang table. It will need for sanction them before it go ahead. You understand? So now noise they make them. When I go tell them, say these weaver birds are making noise between now and September 2025, which gives us about 15 months, nothing will happen. And then after that, Cameroon will enter inside presidential elections. Okay? And then after the presidential election, whoever becomes president, it will need at least 1 more year. There is zero propensity, say the international community, say the United Nations, it will put 1 ounce of pressure on Cameroon government for do anything vis-a-vis the Anglophone crisis. Zero propensity, zero. So the noisemakers, the way they talk about, say, Canada go sanction Cameroon because of Canada pre-talks, where the talk, they try to blackmail the Cameroon government, say, oh, Cameroon government don't withdraw from Canada pre-talks, international community go do this, they go sanction Cameroon, they go do this. All of that is stupidity and ignorance of the highest caliber. Either these people are woefully ignorant on how the world works, or they be willfully deceptive. It means that they lie for una blatantly. Nothing can happen. So I tell una, for the next 2 years at the very minimum, 2 years, the world has no interest, zero, in Cameroon, zero interest. The only interest where they will get them from 2025 now presidential election. That's where the attention will be. So when it comes to the so-called Anglophone crisis, the world, the international community, the United Nations, the African Union, I don't read una your personal profile, your resume, or whatever you want for column, where they post them for United Nations, their website, right? See the kind of office the way don't hold them at the level of the African Union. All the heads of states in the whole of the African continent, it talk to them one-on-one. So now which kind stupidity where you go get people then like Carlson Anyangwe, they go they write them for diplomats, then for South African diplomats, or some or the president of Liberia or whatever. Where would you go with that? When were the president of South Africa, he get direct phone communication, he know WhatsApp the chat, good morning bro, how are you? Philemon Yang and President of South Africa. Now the kind of relationship that we get up with all heads of states, all heads of governments for the whole of the African continent. Now as the president of the United Nations General Assembly, he go there one-on-one, they talk, bro, how are you? With the King of England or the King of the United Kingdom, with all the other, the World International Diplomatic Corps. So how will I go pass? So you and then again na Anglophone for una way una don't know pa Philemon Yang na picking for Bui. Yes, they're born for Bui. If I'm not mistaken, na Oku. It come out. Yes, Philemon Yang, Northwest, Bui division. Now for they come out. So how you go can't take, look at the kind of caliber of Anglophones of stature, people of caliber. where they don't race through the challenges, go through all the ranks and represent Cameroon at the highest level. If they for now Anglophone, if they represent Cameroon, then how you could then look at he did for United Nations as president of the United Nations General Assembly, Cameroonian from Oku, Northwest. And then you talk, say, no, that part of the country is not part of Cameroon. Who could be? I mean, the level of stupidity is just too high. When some people, then when they call themselves Ambazonians, they talk about how we were never part of Cameroon. We are not Cameroonian. How stupid. No one would ever listen to you because, first of all, that is just insanity. And they don't continue to do that stupidity since 2016 till date. They never get no traction on the international scene. No recognition. Zero. No person need to listen to them on the international scene. They don't send diplomatic letters them. They don't try for corner European parliamentarians them, American senators and lawmakers them. They don't try every single thing. Nothing has worked. I remember twice the American Congress, they issue a resolution, say, calling on the Cameroon government and separatists to enter into dialogue without precondition. When I remember, 2 resolutions, one for 2019, another one for 2020. What are the resolutions the day? I remember time with those resolutions, the just come out, United States Congress resolution. They can't make noise. Gary Master can't do 77 Facebook Live. Tapang there for the old. For that side, they talk on. Sako, they talk on. All man, they glad how America, they come. America, they come. UN senators, they don't talk. United States Senate, don't talk. The Congress, don't talk. There's resolution. Pobia will teach you a lesson. Nah, America, they come. They made all that noise. Who's I end? Who's the America day? Now, in this way, I can show now concrete evidence. Say, at the very least, for the next 2 years, there is zero propensity, zero probability, zero chances. Say the international community, it will get even 1 second to waste thinking or talking about the Anglophone crisis. Not to talk about other global phenomenon and other international things the way that they happen around the world, where it don't come suck up all the oxygen in the room. For example, the war in Gaza and Israel, Russia versus Ukraine, and then not to talk about 2019 where we get global pandemic, COVID-19 start, and then it lasts for about 2 or 3 years where you get international countries that lock down their borders, they get all these lockdown economic situations, then all kind of things that happen. So, I mean, these people, they don't get no way for learn. Because if they befit learn, they will understand this reality when me are the tell una. Ambassador terrorism has been defeated in every way, shape, or form, in every sphere. Time where will not be get Cameroonian as the president of the General Assembly. Will not be still get traction. Will not be get no one international partner, no one country no recognize now. No one, I mean, even NGO, no be country, we not even get one NGO for pay attention to una. Now, where the most powerful person at the United Nations, it been a Oku man from Northwest, Cameroonian. Now we wanna go get headway inside the United Nations. So all that noise and Weaver birth where they make noise about, say, they get meeting at the UN, 30 countries that they can't listen to them. And then after they listen, then what? They will do it. They will pass resolution. Or they will do it. Nothing. Let's assume, say, we not even get the so-called presentation at the United Nations. United Nations Secretariat no get no powers to act. The powers for the United Nations Secretariat for act comes from the General Assembly. Until the General Assembly pass a resolution, the Secretary General cannot do anything. It only act on the resolution will be passed by the General Assembly. And the President of the General Assembly, from September 2024, it could be an Oku man, His Excellency Philemon Young, my country people then.
Lesson number one. This video where country people do now God sending me do the video. When I always say, country people. Lesson number one, my country people, talk to listen, whether or not you accept, my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong. So, Ambazonians will thank my country people for the wonderful job. So this one, nothing way all una get forget sense. So one thank my country people and all the other soldiers and say, lesson number one, my country people, talk to listen, whether or not you accept, my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong.